see that we can spend eternity. Our lives were really meant to be together from the start. No one else could fill my life with ecstasy. No one else, it seems, could make me care. What is left is just a memory that's so empty and so unfair. Melody, I'll write another melody, and this time from the start you'll see I'll write it from the heart, and words that say, come to me, stay with me. Won't you stay with me? No one else could fill my life with ecstasy. No one else, it seems, could make me care. What is left is just a memory that's so empty and so unfair. Melody, I'll write another melody, and this time from the start you'll see I'll write it from the heart, and words that say, come to me. Words that say, come to me, stay with me. Won't you stay with me? Stay with me.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe on a beautiful, crispy
Thursday. I lost a day. 'cause
Crispy
it's-
Thursday.
Oh, it's beautiful here. I
Wednesday
have to
was
tell
not
you.
bad either, but it was crispy Thursday.
It is beautiful. I got my long sleeves on. It's nice.
I know, and I ain't got short sleeves on because I'm suffocating. Listen, we got somebody
Oh my gosh.
on set that, again, my time, my era.
Kind of both of our eras.
A little bit for you,
I
very
got the
little.
later in the yeah.
Do you remember some of the songs I was playing for
Boy
you?
from New York City. Oh my gosh,
You remember
yes,
that?
100%. Back in the
was-
clubs.
I was just telling her that we used to go down to Roseland and we used to hear the music there on the way back. It was tremendous. It was big.
Very exciting. So I'm very excited that we get to interview Janice Siegel of the Manhattan Transfer as they launch their worldwide tour and promote 50, named, of course, 50 years. They're 50 new album coming out in conjunction with orchestras and music and traveling the world, all done during a pandemic. So wait till you hear how they laid their tracks in pieces, how they traveled and had to do it not as one as you used to do, but just the whole idea behind it and how the Manhattan Transfer even came to be. We are so excited to introduce this Grammy Award winning group, Manhattan Transfer, and have Janice Siegel join us remotely from her beautiful home in New York. So welcome, Janice.
Thank you so much.
It is
thrilled
such
to
a
be at the
pleasure.
Brooklyn Cafe.
Such a
you,
pleasure. I know you've got so many questions.
I do, because I want to know the beginning, the middle, and the end. You have stories upon stories upon stories, and the group has changed, and but the sound is just unbelievable. Because in the day when they were doing their thing, that was the sound. That was before all the stuff you're hearing now, all of it. They were the originators. So let's take it back to when you started. What made the band click? How did you get this whole thing going?
Well, it's a pretty long story. It has to do with Tim Hauser driving a cab.
That's
mean,
an incredible
basically-
story.
Yeah, it sounds false, but it's not. It sounds like a movie script, but it's not. It actually happened that Laurel Massey, my original partner, got into the cab that Tim was driving herself. And that's how they met. And I met Tim through the cab as well. But I had my own group, and we were doing fine. We were just about to get our own record deal. Then I met Tim. And it's a long story, but Tim and I and Laurel found ourselves together and wanting to sort of reform the Manhattan Transfer, because there was an early iteration group in 1969 that had a record on Capitol called Jukin. So Tim had already tried this idea once, but now we decided to try it again with Tim's leadership. And we found Alan swinging on a rope on Broadway. He was in the original Broadway production of the piece.
I mean, so much
mean,
talent. But the crazy part of this
Yeah.
story, Janice, is really in a taxi cab. People are out, right? You're trying to get a name and going to production. You hear all these great stories, how people are found on Broadway and the restaurants in Manhattan, literally in a taxi cab.
Yeah, well, that's how the meeting happened. That's
It's
how
incredible.
it really started. It just a magic kind of synchronistic thing that happened. Magic does happen, apparently.
And what
So-
made you decide to put pop and jazz together? Because back in the 80s, 70s, it was pop. There was no doubt. But then you put this whole jazz side to it, and then you're nominated and winning awards for both genres of music. Unheard of.
Well, we never defined ourselves as either a pop or a jazz group. We just said we're a harmony group that that explores different facets of American music. So we applied corporate harmony to Sweet Talking Guy and to Alan Toussaint's a cappella and to jazz, vocalese. Certainly, that's a big thing that we do. So we just did what we liked.
It works.
We
It does
didn't care
work.
about the genre.
So let's go now. Let's bring it fast forward to what you're doing now. Let's talk about the new music, the new album. What are you doing? You're going on the road. What's going on with everything today?
Yeah, we're just starting to do our 50th anniversary shows, which are really more elaborate. We've been working with a big band, the wonderful Diva Jazz Orchestra, which is comprised of incredible women musicians, and it's headed by the drummer Sherry Miracle. So we've been doing the initial shows of that, longer, more elaborate show with it's more like a Broadway show. The way it's sort of an arc of our career, and we try to fit everything in. And we'll be continuing that starting in January, and then go all over the world with it. So yeah, it's celebrating our 50th anniversary as a local group. And we have a new record that's out called 50. I can get it. Do you have a copy?
We have, I think, one or two songs that Michelle sent us over, but a full record would
Okay.
be incredible.
Yeah, I have one copy of it. I can show you the cover later. But yeah, it's actually technically out tomorrow.
And then you're going to be down in Florida this weekend.
That's correct, yeah. We're going to be doing, we're going to be singing with our quartet. These are actually dates we're making up from the pandemic. This is a big thing in our business now. Everybody's
Making
trying
up.
to make up what they lost and what was postponed and canceled. So these 3 dates in Florida, I believe, are redos.
They're going to be down in
of ones that
Pinecrest.
were already booked.
Pinecrest on Saturday, up in Stewart on Sunday, and then in January, I'm going to talk to Michelle about getting some tickets at the Parker.
Oh, the Parker Playhouse, friends of ours.
Yes, the Park Playhouse, correct, in January, and that's going to be the big show.
That is spectacular. So I'm going to see if we can maybe get some tickets and go there
To the Parker
to
Playhouse.
the Parker Playhouse in January.
I want to see if we can get them to come down here on a Friday just to sign some autograph and meet some people before they go on to down south.
That
Where
would be
are
amazing.
you guys? I don't
Where-
even know where you guys are.
We're in Boca.
Oh,
Boca.
We are in the heart of Boca.
well, my mother used to live in Boca.
So you know exactly where we are.
Very familiar with Boca Raton, yes.
We're right
Mouth
by
of the
City
Red.
Hall.
Well, tell us how the 50th anniversary album came to be. Not only an album, though. You could have dropped an album, recorded it in your studio, and gone on with your lives. You decided to not only to do a U.S. tour, but a worldwide tour. You're U.S., Europe, Japan. You're going everywhere.
Yes, we've always played everywhere. I mean, we've played everywhere in the world except Africa. We every time we get booked, like in South Africa, it gets canceled or something happens. So we would love to go to Africa. We've been everywhere else, basically. Yeah.
Who inspired all the music going forward? You changed some of it, some of the orchestration's a little bit different.
Well, yeah, the idea with this new record was to revisit some of our recordings, maybe classic recordings like Twilight Zone, Chanson d'amour, On a Little Street in Singapore, and do them with, we picked tunes that we thought would benefit from a symphonic treatment. So that's how that developed. The WDR, the two records with the WDR Funkhouse Orchestra out of Cologne, Germany.
And we're going to be playing that song actually probably at the end of this interview because how you've put it together. And they're telling us in the bio in pieces. So you would do the vocals one place and
Yeah, we had to, because, I mean, ordinarily, we would be flying to Germany, all of us, and do the record. Certainly, the rhythm section would be recording with the symphony, our rhythm section. And we would be at the session just to observe and give our comments, but that was impossible. So we had to do things in sections. So our rhythm section is here in New York. So I was able to be at that section. When the first thing actually that had to happen was the arrangements had to be written, symphonic arrangements. Then our rhythm section recorded in New York. They sent the tracks to Germany, where the symphony went on. And then all of that went to California, where we did the vocals. I mean, sometimes technology works.
technology during the pandemic, I have to say, was one of the great equalizers that everyone had to level up their game in this business to be able to do what you do.
Yeah, you had to learn. Well, I mean, I learned a lot of stuff about technology. I mean, because the only way to communicate or feel any community was Zoom. What was Zoom? I never heard of it before. Zoom, you had to learn, and StreamYard, and all these platforms started popping up. And I started a virtual music program with my friend Lauren Kinnan from the New York Voices called Vocal Gumbo, just because we needed to create and collaborate. So I learned how to record myself at home, how to send musical stems to other people to collaborate, how to do videos at home, and I learned a lot of stuff.
I have to ask, 50 years in the business and you're still in it with essentially the same group of people. How did you do
Well,
it? How
yeah.
did you stay together and stay grounded in the world when business and entertainment, we know what happens to some of those in the entertainment industry. And you stayed together and you're still together.
Well, you have to want to be together. You have to realize that what you do together is greater in some way than what you could do alone. It's uh, everybody. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I love singing harmony. I love being in the middle of the chorus. And as much as I enjoy solo work, which I do quite a bit of, as well as teaching, there's nothing like singing harmony.
The whole is
And
greater than the sum of the
what we
parts.
that's what we do. And
It's
I'm
funny.
in the alto, so I'm in the middle of it.
So you got to be in the middle. It's funny because in this business, dating back all the way to the Beatles and forward, sometimes guys or girls, they decide that they want to be separated. Some will stay in a group and do some things on the side, but their attention and their want, as she said, is really focused on what they want to do. It's really rare to hear the sound that you guys produce as a group and all of the music that came forward, the inspiration story now everything you've done, you become a legend because you're inspiring others to stay the course. And that's what I am amazed of more than anything else, because I know that if I stay the course and you keep your head to the want, you too can make it. I mean, you're talking to an icon. You know, we got to interview Muhammad Ali's wife. That's you. Yes, Janice, that would be you. Muhammad Ali's wife. We got to, she's a good friend of the show. She does shows with us. She comes in here. She's a wonderful lady. And I said to her when I first met her that the closest thing that I ever got to meeting the greatest was her, because she's his wife. And we almost met Muhammad. He got sick on us up in iHeart. He couldn't come in. He was too sick to wheel him in. But this is the same feeling I get. You're an icon. You now have developed what you guys have done, bringing it forward to teach others that it's okay to dream.
What I'm excited about, and I don't know if you've all thought about it, this new record that you've put out to inspire new generations in your music. Because our crew, they're young. They don't know the Manhattan Transfer like we know the Manhattan Transfer, yet now they don't have to listen to the oldies. You have an entirely new record with new orchestrations to come forward for them to learn and hear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we've definitely inspired jazz vocal groups all over the world. That I know, but you can hear little bits of harmony in music today too. You know? You can. I'd like to feel that we've inspired people to just follow the course, follow the dream, and the dream was really started by Tim Hauser, who is our dear departed the founder, who passed away in 2014. And he saw the big picture. You know. He
I was going to
definitely
ask
did.
you, what was his dream when you all came together?
To be the greatest vocal group in the world.
He dreamed big.
Well, it's funny. My mother
Yeah,
used
and
to say,
this is like when I was waitressing and we all had day jobs.
That's
Can you
right.
can you
And we
even
went-
believe like the
Yeah.
journey, the life you've had of this, right? You were waitressing like everyone else starting out your day job, and all of a sudden you have a dream. And you look back on these 50 years. Is it a pinch yourself moment and you say, I can't believe where I am and who I was?
Well, I can't believe 50 years have gone by, honestly. It feels like a blink of the eye. It really does. And I think that's one of the little, the funny thing about time in general, how people feel time, which is what it makes me think of. I mean, some things like if you're on the treadmill, minutes go by excruciating slowly.
Yes.
And yet 50 years goes by in a flash. But I was always more like the worker bee, you know, that this is what we have to rehearse this today. Let me write this. You know, we need to do that, this and that. You know, we're not doing this correctly. And I'm still like that. You know, I'm just kind of involved in the work, which I think is a good thing, as opposed to what am I trying to say here? Getting caught up in the accolades or the good, the negative things or the awards, both positive and negative. Just keep working. And then-
Janice, is there a book? Have you ever written a book?
Nope.
You
No
know, it's-
book. But we
you-
are. I mean, my partner Alan is working on a documentary film.
Well, I see a book in your future.
You do?
Actually, yeah,
I see a book too, but it's full of recipes.
Okay.
That's okay. There is nothing wrong with that. And you know what? Everybody's going to want it. It's going to be successful because everything you touch turns to gold, as they say. And
Oh
it's
my
funny.
God! Yes, even this coffee.
Isn't it delicious? And it's funny. We're going to send you some coffee. Actually, we have our own coffee. When you come to studio, we're going to give you some bags of coffee.
Shut up! You shut the front door. You have your own coffee.
Yes, we do. And we're gonna send you some. How's that?
I'll get your address from Michelle and we'll send over some bags for you all.
All right. Are you kidding? All right. Very good.
I'm serious.
Love it.
I am totally serious. My mom used to. Oh, look at this. Our producer is bringing us a bag to show you. It's okay. Come on in. It's all right.
Oh my God! You weren't kidding.
No. A little taste of home.
That sounds awesome.
We'll send you some of these. My mother used to say, everybody can have dreams. The trick is to believe in them. And if you can do that, you can make anything happen. And Janice, when you come, we have a mini gallery in here full of artists that dream as well. And they've been with us for 7 years. Some people in here we've known a long, long time. And keeping that dream alive is really where it's at. So thank you for all the music you've produced, all of the intentions, all of the meanings behind it. And I got to tell you, never in a million years, I've been doing this a long time, did I ever think I was going to meet Janice Siegel.
Right? What a dream for us.
What a
Get
dream.
out of town. Come
Get
on
out
now.
of town. And to
It's
have
true.
you in Florida and your mom in Boca? What amazing.
Well, my mom passed away, but she lived in Boca for many years. But I have a brother in Fort Lauderdale, though.
Close enough.
He's right down the street.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to see him this weekend because we're playing Pinecrest and Stewart, the Lyric Theater in Stewart. There's 2 shows there on Sunday.
Which is
And
going
we're
to
in
be
at Sarasota Jazz Festival tomorrow night.
Oh wow.
Very cool.
You're going to be all over the place.
Yep.
A lot of traveling. When you come down, do you all travel together or you all just get there on your own?
Well, we're in different places. I'm the only one in New York. And our rhythm section is here. So bass, drums, and piano are here. But my partners are in Southern California.
So they got a trip in.
Yeah, so when we rehearse, I have to go out there.
Oh my gosh. Janice
I'm
Siegel,
outnumbered.
thank you so much for taking the time to join
You're
us on the
welcome.
Brooklyn Cafe Show. It's truly been a pleasure and
You're
an honor
welcome.
to meet you.
Well, I hope to see you at one of the Florida shows. Come on, you guys.
We're definitely
gonna
going to
go.
do it. We're going to put it together. I'll connect with Michelle. Have a safe trip.
All right.
Have a beautiful weekend. Thank you again. Congratulations
Thank
on
you
50.
so much, you guys.
Appreciate you,
Yeah, in
Janice.
Brooklyn.
Woo! Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Wow. What an amazing lady.
That was nice.
You like that?
That was very nice. You want to take a commercial break?
Let's take a commercial break. Stay tuned. More with Manhattan Transfer. We're going to play one of their new releases from 50, and we will be right back.
I may not always love you, but long as there are stars above you, you'll never still go on, believe me. The world could show nothing to me now. So what good would dreaming do me? God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows. God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows what I'd be. God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows. God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows. God only knows what I'd be without you.
Planning for the future should not be painful and needs to be discussed. From health, family, finances, allow qualified professionals to aid in your planning. Luhu Advisors have been serving South Florida for over 30 years. A licensed real estate broker, insurance agent, assisted living administrator, and certified senior advisor, Paul Solomon is the most qualified and well-rounded advisor for any task. Specializing in real estate, long-term care, life insurance and annuities, Social Security, government benefits, and senior housing. Luhu Advisors. Let us help you. Known for his Art Deco Cubist style and compositions with dancing saturated color, Ken Bieberman has lived and breathed art his whole life. From the early 80s, he's influenced the Art Deco district of Miami Beach. Featured in numerous restoration projects, hotels, galleries, and clubs, Bieberman creates for everyday folks and celebrity clientele. He's also the proprietor of Art Repro, a giclée and scanning company in Pompano Beach. When it comes to scanning high resolution, size is not an issue. Professionally scanning art up to 10 feet and 64 inches in width, Art Repro utilizes state-of-the-art equipment. On quality canvas or paper, archival ink and printing mediums are put to use. Art Repro ensures colors are true and every nuance of the art is captured, including the canvas weave. Perfection is the priority. Contact artist Ken Bieberman today at 954-547-0095 or visit his website www.artrepro.net.
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, we create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, we are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
Le Sorel Restaurant, home of the authentic Italian tradition, offers a large menu that consists of seafood, steak, homemade pasta, brick oven pizza, and homemade desserts including a wide wine selection. We also have the best bar in Boca Raton with delicious cocktails, homemade limoncello, cappuccino, Italian espresso, brandy, and other specialties. Open every day with a lunch and dinner menu. For more information or to make a reservation, contact lesorelrestaurant.com or call 561-235-5301.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Yes, they did.
And welcome, welcome, welcome. What a segment we have.
I think we look a little green.
No, that's the light behind us.
Okay. That was amazing, wasn't it?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have with me, besides dropping my phone, today's pebble of the day. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see this. I'll put it against my
It's
shirt.
so very, very tiny.
This little pebble actually knocked Dawn to the ground.
I didn't fall over. I just kind of slipped on
The
it,
chair saved you.
pretty much.
Now, this pebble has been with me for 7 years. It was at iHeart. It was a lot bigger then. She tripped on it 3 times at the iHeart parking lot. You tripped on it here at this parking lot. You tripped on this at Delray parking lot.
Studio A. There's got to be a sign.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Don't walk on
I'm a
pebbles.
klutz, is all I guess it means.
Not at all. Not at all. And I want to touch on, not that you're a klutz, I want to touch on the fact that if you have dreams and you hold on to dreams and you really believe in the things to you, no pebble will bring you down.
Well, I have to say, the segment we just did open
Amazing.
this show up with Janice Siegel of the original Manhattan Transfer, and they're now coming up with their new record. We call it an album. She calls it a record, called 50. 50 years in the business, 50 years of traveling and working together with an incredible group, award-winning, Grammy Awards, nominations in not only jazz, but in pop. I mean, songs that you all know, songs that the new generation does not know, but now they're going to be privy to a whole nother side of music. What an incredible lady. So what an honor it was for us to be able to have that opportunity to interview them. This weekend on Saturday and Sunday, they're going to be in our area. Saturday down in Pinecrest in Miami with their quad a cappella, and then on Sunday they're going to be up at Stewart And then coming in January, they're going to be back at the Parker Playhouse and traveling all over the world. U.S. tour, Europe tour, Japan, you name it, is where they're going to be, except Africa, she said.
And Manhattan Transfer in the 70s and 80s was a thing. Manhattan Transfer was one of the, and I know I laugh because the kid says, Manhattan what?
They don't know.
They think a transfer is to take the A train to the E train. But Manhattan Transfer in the day was a somebody. But I am inspired by a legend of people that come forward. She believed in it. She stuck with it. 50 years in this business is not easy.
And to stay with the group, unfortunately, the founder of the group, he passed away in 2014. So there is a new fourth member, but that is only because of circumstances. But they've been together since 1972, the group formed. The original four, then a new member came in 79, and then they have been together since 1979 until 2014, working together, creating music, jazz, and harmony. Now they're with a full orchestra over. It's just incredible what they've put together.
And they've gotten awards, they've gotten Grammys, they've gotten all sorts of things in the day.
And the orchestra's in Germany. So they took the music from Germany, they sent it here, they did the recordings here in the U.S., and they layered it all together.
They sent it to California to
It's
put it all
incredible,
together.
isn't it?
Unbelievable.
But what a gift to be able to interview her.
I know. That came upon us yesterday, I think, right?
On Monday, yeah.
And to be able to talk to her, it's amazing. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to talk to Cheetah Moreno, because I worked in her apartment back in the day, but I would love to bring her. And there's
Oh,
a
is
rumor.
she like 90?
Who, Cheetah? Cheetah's not 90. She's, whatever. I don't care if she's 100. What difference does it make? And there's a rumor in the mill that we may have Miss Lapa coming to
Very
see
nice.
her. So we'll see how that works out.
You know, I think when we get to interview somebody from, you call it back in the day, old school. Because old school sticks with old school. And they stay. They know their commitment. They know their commitment to their dream, like you. And they keep going. People tease you because you will sit in a meeting for hours and have conversations and build that rapport and build that trust. Me, and we're not that much different in age, I'm quick to send a text or an email. If someone doesn't answer, I go, okay, next. You will call them. You will follow up with them. You're
But
old
that's
school.
what you did for Manhattan Transfer. You stuck with it, you answered it, and you played it. It was good stuff. Now, does anybody here remember Madonna?
Of course.
Oh, of course. So Madonna is the same bracket as Manhattan Transfer.
You think?
Of course, I was there.
Huh. I always think of Manhattan Transfer more of 70s than 80s, but
They
were
went
huge in
70
the
and
80s.
80s.
Yep, huge
They
in
went
the
both.
80s.
I got to see Madonna when she was at Studio 54 in Manhattan the first time. I got to see her. I didn't get to meet her. The DJ that was bringing her in, he has a name, but I'll leave it alone. And Madonna was amazing. Just simply amazing. So if Madonna shows up here, it's the same difference.
Madonna was the first concert I went to. It was at the Sportatorium out in Sunrise, which was in the middle of nowhere. And now it's the middle of everything out there near Sawgrass Mills. But you had to take dirt streets and down the dirt road to get it. And if you went to the Sportatorium, you were doing stuff that I wasn't doing, but other people were doing back in the day.
Same thing with Studio 54.
Funny, right?
That's what people did in the day. But
That's
the
crazy.
amazing thing is that these icons, these legends, push together the music that you guys are actually hearing today. It's not the same music, but it's because of their creativity that these things are being played today. It made my day to have Manhattan Transfer on the show.
It was so cool. So thank you again to her publicist, to Michelle, and sending all that information over and putting this together for us. It's going to be a great event, and they're making up time from the pandemic when things got misscheduled. So this weekend you can get tickets. We can actually post that, and then the whole schedule of the tour. And the new record gets released tomorrow, actually.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Called 50.
And she
in
said she's
honor
gonna
of 50
send us one.
years. She's like, I only have one. Do you want one? We're going to send her coffee. We promised to send her some of our
Yes.
Brooklyn Cafe Show coffee.
Yes, absolutely. She says, you really have coffee? Yeah.
She lives in the West Village. That's kind of cool, huh?
West Village, old stomping ground.
I figured you like that a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, I was watching the news this morning, and Senator Elizabeth Dole, she started a foundation. I don't know if anyone even knows this, for caregivers of military personnel. And when Bob Dole was in the hospital 10 years ago having knee surgery in Walter Reed, she was walking the hallways, and apparently she was giving out candy bars to just people that happened to be there. And Bob Dole said he wanted to be where all the military was, where the families were, even though he was just having knee surgery, because he wanted to meet and greet everybody. And she was walking the halls, and she met a woman whose husband had fought in the Iraq War and lost both his legs, and what that was like. And going forward, she became a caregiver, a lifetime caregiver. And Elizabeth Dole started this foundation for caregivers of military personnel and what that looks like, to give them all the support they ever needed. And she was 100% honest. She said, I never knew this was a thing because Bob always got all the care he ever needed. And this one woman she met in the hospital said, that's because you're a senator and he's Bob Dole. And from that point forward, she started a foundation called the Elizabeth Dole Foundation to give back to all of these military caregivers. And it made me think of the show you do with Marcia, Caregiver Solutions, because that's not just for elderly and Alzheimer's and dementia. That's for all caregivers.
Exactly.
So I was thinking of Marcia, and I thought that might kind of be a cool interview for her to reach out to some of these families. Maybe not Senator Dole, but some of the other family members that are going through this
Maybe
and have gone through this.
His wife.
It is.
Maybe we talk to her to.
Senator Dole, yes.
to
But what a
plug
great
her
lady.
into everything.
I thought that would be a really
There
cool
are so many
interview for her.
changing times that are going on right now, and people reaching out. We want to thank you for the people that are reaching out to put these great people on set with us. We love it. I think it's important. I think that everybody has a shot. You know, it's like she said, everybody has a dream. You got to believe in that dream and watch it grow.
She said dreams really do come true. She said there she was 50 years ago waiting tables in New York. Just what every
in the cab
aspiring,
meeting?
right?
And she had the meeting in the cab?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Just what everyone aspires to do. You never know. And it made me think of you again because it's when people ask us, how many viewers do you have? What's your reach? What's your listenership? What's your viewership? And I wish you had your bell. Thank you to everyone. We are now at 1 million views on Roku and Amazon Fire Stick, which is amazing. And that's all thanks to all of you. I don't know why you watch us, but you do. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Million's a big number.
Million is a huge number.
And it's funny because I was watching the countdown and said, I wonder what happens at 1 million. Yeah, this is 1 million. Keep going.
1 million. I mean, that's tremendous. And that's not just people scrolling through social media. That's actually people looking for our app on Roku and Amazon Fire Stick and watching the show.
That's right.
That's actually active
All over the world.
participation to look for this all over the world.
And we have to thank Roku for giving us our own button, our own stage button, right next to YouTube, in between YouTube and there's another one, I think ABC.
You can put them anywhere on your dial that you want, but people are actively watching our show.
They're actually
so
clicking in, which
I
I
actually
don't know
clicking
why.
and watching us.
You need medication, lots of it, but there you go.
But I have to thank you because that's just amazing. You start with a dream, and who would have ever thought? But I love what Janice Siegel said, is you have a dream, and you just keep going. And I wanted to ask what her legacy was, but clearly her music is her legacy.
She may show up here. She's going to be at the Parker Playhouse.
In January 23rd. That's actually the same day as the Eco Trail Trekker event. Of
Oh,
course.
jeez, Louise.
But that's okay. One's in the day and one's at night.
Eco Trail Trekker. Get your tickets, get involved. I loved it. It was fun.
So it was
So we're going
great.
to stick here to introduce our friend over here.
Yeah, we've got Dr. Lynette Strang joining us, and we haven't seen you in a little bit, so welcome back to the show.
Thank you very
We missed
much.
you.
It's nice to have you back. You know, today is a day of inspiration. Today is a day of doing things that bring you full circle to what you believe in. Like when I took your product on that plane, I'll never forget that day. On my way to Puerto Rico, and I started with a brand new bottle, and I used it.
God bless you.
What was that?
I don't know who, it had to have been Bailey.
Did somebody attack
That was
her?
a Bailey.
And I used that spray, and even the pilot used it, and everybody used it. Again, inspiration.
He's laughing. Was it Bailey?
He ran. He closed the door and ran. But welcome back. It's nice to see you again. It's nice to see your smile again. And it's important that everybody understands that deep down inside of us, everybody is creative. You just got to get it to bubble out, right?
It's true.
That's all it comes down to. That's what the theme has been all week.
I think the theme has been believe in your dreams and go get it.
Think so?
In my mind, because even Janice said it, you have a dream. You heard the sneeze too. You don't know how you're going to get there. And I guess you can't know how you're going to get somewhere. You just got to go.
Sometimes. Have you seen the movie Top Gun 2?
I started watching it, but I kind of faded out on it. Like
On the second one?
yeah.
second
I
one?
mean, I didn't really see the first one, so
Well, you got to see the second one all the way through because it's a movie about old school versus new school. And don't think about it, just go get it.
Yep.
And I was amazed because some of the teachings that we have in here occurred.
I have
Josh,
to,
you haven't seen it either, right? Top Gun 2? Got to see it.
You know, I was talking to one of the hosts we had on Monday night, was Behind the Veil with Michelle and Krista Barone. Longtime friends at the cafe of even before we had the cafe. It was two broads from Boca, and then we brought them on the show. And Krista Barone's story is remarkable. At 3 years old, yes, for everyone who called and wrote in and questioned, she was diagnosed with neuroblastoma at the age of 3. And in the one study that she was in of 30 children, she is the only survivor
Survivor.
of that study. And why she is not in the medical books? No one ever approached her
They
to be
don't
in the
even
books.
they don't even know why.
They don't know. They've never done a follow-up study. They've never done a follow-up anything. It was one of these miracles of God. And I was talking to her mom, and she said maybe their soul contract changed when she spoke to that alleged priest that never existed as a priest. Whatever those miracles occurred, they did a show on Monday night, and she said, actually, when we were talking, she said there's another young girl out there that's also a survivor. And again, unheard of to have two out of the amount of children, unfortunately, that are diagnosed with this. And you talk about a story of a dream and pursuing and going forward, and you don't know why you're here, and you keep going. And on the inside, you just keep doing what you're doing. But on the outside, everyone looking in looks at her and says, is this true? It's 100% true. And we're going to bring Krista back with her story. We're going to give her a call because she didn't realize it was such a story.
It is a story.
In her mind, this is her life, and she is who she is, and she keeps going.
I only got phone calls and questions. And then I looked it up. And the longest person, I think, is 3 years or 5 years.
So she's 20 years as a survivor.
It doesn't even, but then again, you know, it's funny. My father was diagnosed with clots in his lungs and a saddle. My father should have died when they diagnosed it 7 years before that. And they didn't understand what happened. They didn't understand how it occurred. They didn't even want to touch him. They pulled all the machines off of him and said, okay, leave the man alone, because they were afraid that something would happen. So they liquefied his blood with this medication. So I should have just said to these people, listen, I know it can happen because I was witness to my father being alive. But this child, how many years? 20?
She's 26.
How in the
so
world
23 years.
can it not be put into the books or at least studied? Or maybe she didn't want to.
She said they never even asked.
That's nuts. That's just
She never
nuts.
even asked. Got incredible treatment from Joe DiMaggio, amazing treatment. She went out of the area to get stem cell treatment, and they just said throw it all at her because we need her here. And here she is, which is an incredible story to
It
share,
is an
right?
incredible story.
So we're going to have to get her back on.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime dream thing, which is unbelievable.
You know, so we get a chance to talk to Dr. Lornette or Dr. Stray. All the information you have in your head is always amazing because you always and you're so intuitive. I think you're more intuitive than you realize you are because you'll say, oh, I think this would work for you and I think that would work for you. And we laugh a lot with you, but you have your doctorate in naturopathic medicine.
Yes. So, you know, when you look at something and you look at someone, you look at, okay, what's their emotional state? What's their physical state? I mean, what's apparent? And usually when you talk to someone, you can kind of read what's going on. And when it all boils down, it goes to neurology and endocrinology, like the hormones, what's going on. A thought liquefies and it affects every organ in your body. So when you start assessing a person and what's going on with them, you kind of have to start with the stress response, which leads to inflammation, which is every disease that we have.
And then you'll be able to help once you diagnose how much stress, the body chemistry, different things for the stomach, and because we were talking in the
Yeah.
back
So
about different
our
mixtures.
new
Basically,
Yeah.
we're talking about stress response. Everyone has stress, right? Every single one of us. The difference in this is, so there are 3 main herbs, okay? And I may pronounce them incorrectly, but shoot me. So anyway, you've heard of ashwagandha, which is very mainstream now. It's from India. And basically, it's an adaptogen. Do you know what that is?
Do you know what that is?
I'm going to let her explain it to you.
So
yes.
an
no
adaptogen,
problem.
basically, it works in, say, like whenever hormones are released into the body, it starts on several levels of the brain. like the hypothalamus, the pituitary, the pineal gland. So it's all going on up here first, which is triggered by a thought, emotion, and neurochemistry, right? So yeah. So basically what happens is that, there are 6 hormones released by the anterior pituitary alone, and they all feed back. So if one is high, say like the sex hormones, if one of those goes up and it feeds back, it will increase or decrease other of the 6 hormones. And one is thyroid hormone, one is so that's where fertility and thyroid and all these things are interlinked because they all come to the same place. So basically, whether they're high or low, what an adaptogen does is it equals them out. Whether it's high or low, it knows. It has the vibrational frequency that will just equal it out so that it regulates the cortisol mainly, which regulates the other 5 hormones.
And there's different causes and different symptoms for different adaptogens. But what I didn't realize, she told me ashwagandha is used for mostly women postmenopausal, which I did not realize that.
Yeah, so the difference, say there are 3 main herbs that are used as adaptogens for like the 6 hormones, which is the thyroid, stress, and sex hormones, basically. And
Pretty much sums up my life.
yeah, but there are certain things about these plants that have different medicinal properties, and ashwagandha helps postmenopausal women sleep, it calms them and decreases cortisol, where someone like me, I did much better with holy basil, which serves the same thing. It treats those 6 hormones, it regulates them. So basically, you're healthier. Like, I used it when I competed because it decreased belly fat. Cortisol increases belly fat. So that's one of the things you use.
Increases belly fat?
Yeah.
Stress.
So,
Okay.
that's one of the things. When people are stressed out and they gain all here, it's usually a sign of cortisol or increased cortisol.
So
And
you wanna-
you also get it right here.
So you
like
want
on
to
the back.
decrease the cortisol in order to get the
What
belly
happens
fat
is
down?
that, cortisol is
What
like
do you mean you get it back here? Maybe that's why my neck hurts so much.
Yeah, I
Stress?
mean, the thing is, and it gets all trapped in there. So, like here, like basically in Chinese medicine, this means you're making a lot of decisions,
Oh.
right? So this leads back to the gallbladder and liver.
You're on your
basically.
right shoulder, so your left shoulder the same thing?
It depends. Like there's energetic medicine, and left is usually incoming, and right is outgoing. So, like things that are coming in usually enter the left and leave on the right for some reason. So it's just an energetic flow.
It's very true.
And
But
if
you
your
know,
flow
like-
is blocked, it does not leave. It stays
Right,
trapped.
right. And sometimes it just gets trapped in there. Say like people with grief, right? What happens is that like my aunt, she died of lung cancer, unfortunately, but she remembers that when my grandfather died, that she felt the cancer launch, like she was grieving and she was crying so hard that and she felt the exact moment, and she knew that she had gotten it.
Wow.
Because
It's just,
she got it.
yeah, and that's the thing. So when you look at say in Chinese medicine, there's a 5-element theory. Grief is very closely associated with the lungs and the large intestine are paired. And it's very indicative when people wake up at 1 a.m. So it's paired to a whole system of everything, which, basically we have a circadian rhythm, which is based on cortisol. So it makes a lot of sense that these organs have their area or, these meridians and electroconductivity, which they're finding out more and more about.
Do you do a lot of Chinese medicine?
I try to use a mix of Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, like the chakra systems. Because, the energy from us, it extends 9 feet in every direction. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, 9 feet out of every direction. So especially from your heart, because your heart is an electrical organ.
Huh.
So I will affect anything 9 feet around me.
And vice versa. Anything 9 feet around you will come back
Right.
into
So you ever
affect
notice when you're in a very negative room and you pick up vibes, like you look around, and eventually if you're stuck in there, it's going to reduce your vital energy or your life force, so to speak. But, you don't realize how powerful our vibrations are. If you get a good vibe, so to speak, oh, I got a good vibe from them, it means you felt the energy, the love in the heart, the genuineness, the good, positive stuff that we all want to feel, basically. And that's where it comes into the gut. And that's what you're saying. Don said intuition. Intuition is a gut feeling, and it just comes, and you say it, and you don't know where it comes from. Or you'll say something before someone tells you. Because we are already talking. The minute our energy fields meet, we are in a discussion, we're checking each other out, kind of
My
like...
guys are checking out your guys. Your
Figured
guys are
it
checking
out,
my
yeah.
guys.
Like, what's up with this person? What's up
Well,
with that
no,
person?
because I was told that the men don't realize nothing.
No, we said you have no appropriate reception.
Yeah, but I don't know what that means. So I guess
The
it means I got
purple-
But I
nothing.
mean, it's just like, when you interact, like say, so this morning, right? So I went for a nice walk in Lake Ida, and I thought it was hilarious. So I went there pretty much every day this week when I dropped Andrew off. It was gorgeous. And there's these two homeless guys there, right? And sometimes when you see homeless people, you get like scared or whatever. They were sitting up. They had a thermos, some instant coffee. They were enjoying the view. You know what I mean? They were talking to everyone. But the vibe was good. They gave off a good vibe. They
9
didn't
feet of
seem like it was impossible to be scared of these guys. You wave at them, and it was like, yeah, it was completely normal for them to be there.
I get scared of people sitting in here.
Yeah.
You get scared when Bailey sneezes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just very interesting, because your perception is like if I'd seen them somewhere else, but they're there and they had they had a little can of instant coffee there, so it was like so relatable all of a sudden.
So are you still working with patients?
I do private work with certain people. I try to tie together a clinical situation. Then I like suggest certain routes of therapy, so to speak. But more and more we are coming into an age of frequency and vibration, and just like you can't see a baby without an ultrasound. That's a sound wave, right? Everything's a wave, a light wave, a sound wave, and we are really entering into a system of vibrational energy. And this is why this works. It matches the vibration in the body. So they've done a lot of studies, it's more and more validated. And what they found is that, like, even a cat's purr, right? So if a cat sits on you and purrs, it increases the activity of these cells called osteoclasts, which strengthens the bone and prevents osteoporosis.
A cat purring on my chest.
Well, you
The
should have very
vibrational
strong bones then.
frequency actually
My-
gets that little cell working. So it matches the vibrational frequency, and the frequency matches, it starts vibrating. And then the one next to it starts vibrating. It's like a little bunch of beans.
Casper
And then
make you
before you
stronger?
know it, you're developing bone and
Well,
stuff.
my Maine Coon is like 28 pounds, so I can't breathe when he's on my chest. But yes, to answer your question, this cat purrs so loud it shakes the glass on the windows. He's a big cat, so when he purrs, you hear it.
Yep.
And when we're home, my God, he doesn't stop. So yes, he has been on my chest. I can't breathe, but I didn't know. I should
Yeah.
have him make a house there.
You've got so many great tips for people.
But they're finding out more and more, like they're finding out which cell what it vibrates at a frequency. So like say when you look at a chakra system, it basically coordinates with like the light, the rainbow first of all, and also like solfeggio frequencies. Do you know what those are? So basically, St. John the Baptist, he discovered this do, re, mi, fa, so. And it starts, I think, at 396, and it goes up and up and up till like their heart chakra, I think, is, I don't remember exactly, but it's somewhere around 700. And it goes up the vibrational frequency. So basically, if you're living a life of fear and, instability, what you have is a lot of red and orange in your life in terms of chakra vibrational frequency and the wavelengths of those lights. So any kind of like light like that, say an infrared, would help cancel those frequencies or support those frequencies to move upward.
Now, St. John the Baptist did this?
Yes, and it was rediscovered. I don't remember. It was a naturopath here in America.
Is it true he looked through a prism?
I don't know exactly how he did it, but they're evolving
makes
now, so we
sense.
have more. We actually have more than what we started with now.
It's
so
a
if you
prism.
Our
Think of it with the
frequency, like
chakras
with the
and a
third eye and
prism.
above, we're evolving, right? So now we're in the age of Pisces, so we're back to love. But we were in the age of Aquarius before, which is awareness and
We
cognition.
are in the age of Pisces right now?
Yeah, we
How long?
switched in
Till when?
2022. So yeah,
Till when?
I'm not sure, but
It's my age.
but that's the thing. And I think when you look at the children in the world right now, they're not like, say, the generation has changed so much, and they're more about experiences than they are about work and that kind of stuff. And they're so different. But they're really getting back to a place where the world needs love right now. Look at what's going on, and I really think they can pull it off. I have a lot of hope and faith in
It's
them
true.
to
Their
switch
generation
things.
is more an experience. Even Aaron and Ashley, because they're getting married, everyone says, "Where are you registered? What can we get for you?" I think we don't want anything.
Mm-hmm.
We want to travel. We want to go on a honeymoon. We've got a honeymoon fund. We don't have room for things. I don't need China. We don't need.
Exactly.
Their lives are different than it was when we all got married because we acquired things.
Well, we
They
thought
don't want things.
Yeah, and that's what it is. But these, like my son and everyone else is like, do you want experiences? And
Yeah.
and I really think that their impact on technology is so important because they're the ones coming up, and there's a lot more good than there is bad in the world. So they're going to be our little technology warriors right now.
Amazing.
People
All right,
coming up.
We're going to take a commercial break. You're going to stay with us?
Yes.
More to come. Give us a call, 888-994-4995. Check out the new album, 50, by the Manhattan Transfer. Stay tuned. Quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
When it comes to investigative services, you can't settle for inattentive or irresponsible services. PI Network of Florida is a firm that you can rely on for actionable insight for personal or professional matters. From surveillance and insurance claims to background checks and identity theft, the investigative services are extensive. With over 30 years experience and 2 decades of serving the community, PI Network of Florida is trustworthy and reliable. Call today at 786-768-4394. Trust your gut. Trust PI Network of Florida.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Meet Jay Harmon, one of the many artists held in the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery. Jay specializes in various different art styles, but his medium to work with is colored pencils. His unique style comes from being self-taught and years of practice. Jay pulls his inspiration from many outlets like people, television, celebrities, and many more. With multiple original pieces, Jay's art graces the gallery with over 40 plus works for viewing and for purchase. His many years of being an artist has given him a chance to partner with the Derwent brand, giving him the opportunity to try many different work styles and further his craft. Feel free to come down and visit the studio to view his work, or if you're interested in your own Jay Harmon original, he's open to commissions on his website, coloredpencilartist.com, or catch his show, The Colored Pencil Artist, on Amp Media Productions on YouTube and Facebook. See you soon.
What would you do if you had a broken bone? You'd go to the doctor and use your insurance, right? What would you do if you had a serious problem with drugs and alcohol? Most people do nothing until it's too late. Your insurance can help you get clean and sober with the assistance of a place like the Detox and Treatment Helpline. Many times treatment is fully covered, so why not use your insurance to treat your addiction problem just like you would if you had a broken bone? And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you're allowed by law to take off time from work, and your employer doesn't need to know the reason. So there are 2 good reasons. You've got insurance you can use for your addiction problem, and with the Family Medical Leave Act, it's completely confidential. Call us right now and save a life.
Call 855-350-4504. That's 855-350-4504. Call 855-350-4504 now.
If your family is suffering from inflation and high costs caused by Lois Frankel's reckless policies, Republican Dan Franzese is clearly your best choice for Congress. Dan is a successful businessman who understands finance and economics. He's not a politician. Dan grew up blue collar and knows how tough inflation is on working families. Dan Franzese will go to Washington and fight the liberals who are killing us with inflation. Dan Franzese for Congress.
I'm Dan Franzese, and I approve this message.
Artist Rosie Sherman paints her passions to share with everyone. Expressing herself through bold and vibrant colors, her suggestion and style are always in flux. Inspired by travels, nature, romance, and the human spirit, Rosie makes sure her depiction of women are strong and proud. Her landscapes illustrate the changing seasons in the diverse world that we live in. To find her artwork in the multiple medias you can purchase, visit rosiesherman.com. pixels.com.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Here we go. We just stepped into the ring again, toe to toe. Tell me when will this fighting end? Pain, it hurts. It just cuts me like a knife inside. Will you wrong? Or will you just leaving high? You always said that I've let you down so many times, but now you see that all I ever did was try to get your attention for just one little loving word, but now I'm gone, and our bridge is about to burn. I don't have to like you, but I love you. You're my flesh and blood. I don't have to like you, but I care of what you're thinking of. I don't have to like you, but I'd miss you if you went away. Oh, please tell me you love me before I fade away. I don't have to like you, but I love you. You're my flesh and blood. I don't have to like you, but I care of what you're thinking of. I don't have to like you, but I'd miss you if you went away. Oh, please tell me you love me before I fade away. Here we go. We just stepped into the ring again, toe to toe. Tell me when will this fighting end? Pain, it hurts. It just cuts me like a knife inside. Will you wrong? Or will you just leave it high?
That was the music of CeCe Clevenger. I don't have to like you, but I love you. He's going to be here tonight on Cafe Night Train, 7:30 tonight. We also have the incredible saxophone player, JT, John Tutino, joining us. He is, I always say I think the saxophone is one of the most romantic, I say sexiest, romantic instruments that there is. We haven't seen John in a little while, so he's going to be doing some oldies, some throwbacks. I think Cece's going to do a song, sort of mixing and matching a little
We're
bit.
gonna mess around with it a little bit
It's
to
going to be nice, right?
get Night Train back on the track, and you're
Night
all
Train
invited.
last week was great.
For the last 3 weeks, it's been great. The numbers are going through the roof. All invited to come down. There is no cover charge. I love Lori G. Is there a cover charge? Only for you, Lori. Only for you.
No cover charge. Come
No
on
cover
in.
charge.
Last
Come
week we
on
had
down.
Vertigo, the U2 tribute band, which was amazing also.
That was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And Josh's camera work last week was, wow.
Well, you know something? You're only as good as the last time you did it.
Yeah.
So if you do it again, then I say incredible. It was pretty good, though.
It was
I gotta
fantastic,
admit, it
right?
was pretty good.
And I have to say, I think Garcia's raising up everyone's bar on the camera work. We missed you last week, so they said, well, Andrew did this and Garcia did that, so, you know.
Well, I mean, the angle of what we do is getting better and better, and that's what it's all about. Now, I wanted to bring up a separate, different subject matter.
Okay.
During COVID, they came up with this new game that is now going to be officially a sport. It is called slap wrestling.
What is that?
So two people stand in
Have you
front of
seen
each
it?
other, and they smack each other until one is out.
This is real?
Is it real, Garcia?
Grab a mic.
Open hand, yes. You can't close the hand, and
I'm
you
on
can't-
A4.
and you have to sort of get off of the ear. You can't hit the ear.
Why is this a fun game?
I think it's just entertaining.
It
These
is.
dudes are big, like they're huge.
entertaining.
These guys are houses.
Lynette, let me smack you in the face. See if you like it.
No, there's money. You're doing it for money. This
Yeah.
isn't. It's like a. Listen, why do they fight bare knuckles in different bars now?
I don't understand. Can you please tell me? It's the male perception, I guess. lack
Hold
thereof.
on. Hold that thought.
Females
So
are
now
doing it too?
women are doing it too. So the women have come up with a different angle on how not to get knocked out. They sort of bring their chin to their chest so that when you smack it, it doesn't knock you out. So the champion woman, UFC has gotten involved in this now. The owner of the UFC owns it now. He just spent a lot of money and he's making this tournament, and it's unbelievable. These guys,
Would you want to get smacked around?
hell
I
no.
know you've been divorced twice. I know. That's what you're going to say.
That's enough. But they have timed it. You know how in baseball they time how hard, how fast the bat hits the ball, 180 miles an hour, 200 miles. So they time the hand to the face. It's close to 100 miles an hour.
And how does this face withstand this hit?
Well, apparently you're supposed to train your jaw and your face and your head to withstand the impact. You can always walk away. You get hit one time, you says, okay, I'm done.
You know,
But-
like Freddie said, like the women when they tuck in their chin,
This is the
it's so
thing.
that way you don't get hit in the chin, because when you try to knock someone out, the chin is weak. So when you hit the chin, they lose their balance and they knock out. So that's why you hit people in the chin, especially when you fight. Hit them in the chin or the temple, and then that'll knock them out if you land a clean hit.
I must be missing the impact of the joy of this.
And the funny thing is that when you box, if you hit somebody square on the nose, it makes their eyes tear. And if they can't see your hands, they're not gonna duck, weave, and bob, and it gives you the advantage in the fight. I tell you this because when I wanted to box, my uncles were boxers, and they said, "Come here, you want to learn to box?" And they hit me, and I went down. I was crying. I said, "I don't want to box no more." But it's a thing. And I'm thinking about what you're
Can't
talking
imagine
about.
it like knocking someone out. Like I could see a punch. I don't know how a slap would
No,
do
it's
it.
a slap. It has to be open hand.
Yep.
Hand closed, hand open. Cannot be a punch. And they hold on to a piece of a bar. You hold on, or the table, because there are people behind you that catch you if you go down. Have you watched it?
I've seen some clips before, and they're huge. Like there's some really, really big guys who are like bodybuilders. They'll hold on to that little bar, and they'll cock their hand all the way back and swing, and the other guy will just get like stumble back, and then the other guy will come back and hit again, and it goes back and forth all the way
So
until
somebody goes
loses.
down.
Yeah,
What's the most common injury with that? Do you know?
I don't
probably
know.
like really bad bruising. because it's a slap. I guess if you like hit them wrong, then maybe.
All right, does anyone know the history as to why someone decided to create this game?
It was just a game they created.
I would say too much time together during
much
COVID.
Too much
Get out
COVID.
of my face.
Well, what about the sack that you throw across the room into the little hole that was done in college when you were
Cornhole,
around?
And why is that called
Is it-
cornhole? Do they used to throw ears of corn in a hole?
Yeah, back in the day.
I mean, think about
The little
how things
niblets.
come up with it, and I'm going to believe you. And
And we're back to ears again.
Ears and niblets.
Brady, your niblets reminds me of your battery conversation you had with Bailey this morning.
My oh.
I got to tell you, to grow up in your mind, it's just a whole nother
You know,
level.
I gotta tell you, I tell her the stories in truth. She doesn't believe me, so then I create a lie because that she believes.
Did you make that up?
Which one?
The batteries. You know when you put a battery in something and the flat part goes against the spring?
Wow.
And then the top.
Oh, yeah, the negative positive.
He calls them other things, and I thought,
What does he call them?
I was-
they're
Yin and
not
yang?
arable. The things he calls them are not arable. They're not family
I
friendly
was
content.
taught that one is an N and one is an A. Now think about it. On the anatomy of a woman, one is a N and the one is an A. One is sticking out and one is flat. So if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. But nobody in there will ever forget what's what now.
I don't know. I'm thinking about the spring on the A, and
Why don't you
it's
tell them about this? What is this doing?
It's protecting.
What do you call this?
for 5 years. Freddie told me these are Mike condoms.
They are.
Oh my God.
5 years, and I finally said we need to order more Mike condoms.
She said it in a room
Mine's
full of
been
people.
used.
Oh no.
She said it in a room full of people. I went,
Only to find out.
I said,
now
you didn't get the memo?
And the crew says, "What are these called?" He says, "Oh, they're Mike covers." Yeah, not even a thing.
Did you guys see, like me and my family during the COVID thing, the weird things we did was that we had this competition and I got so out of hand where, you know, you decorate the toilet.
Haven't done that.
So you put 2 rolls of toilet paper on top of the seat like it's eyes, and then you put a cigar, like a paper towel roll, and the lid.
In the
and
toilet?
Definitely had too much time on your
and
hand.
It looks like a face, and my sister actually lit it.
If you've
And
anyone
you had
has
like a
decorated
Rasta
toilet seat, let
one.
us know.
Decorated the toilet.
If you need your toilet seat decorated. Now, I tell you what I did do. In New York, we used to go to, like the Costco's that we have here was called something else. And we used to buy 32 rolls of toilet paper.
Yeah.
So we used to take toilet paper and wrap your car with 32 rolls.
Not
Yeah.
during COVID. That was too valuable.
That was
Well, not
like
during COVID, but this
gold
is in New York
during
in the day.
COVID.
And then we used to take spray paint and put a message, whatever the message was. We used to do that in the day. And it's funny because when you wet the last roll,
Yep.
you can't get that stuff off, man. It's hard.
Is that your costume for Halloween, the mummy?
How did you know that? Did I tell you that story?
I think toilet paper was on sale at Walgreens, so.
Well, I'm kind of excited. You're going to be doing a show on Monday night at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
What are we going to call it?
Something fantabulous for sure. I haven't come up with a name yet, but
I think it's going to be great. You have so many great people. You know, we met Dr. Lee through you, and I went to see her for years for acupuncture. I should really go back. 'Cause
That woman threw me on the floor.
She balanced me out.
She threw me on the floor. First of all, she cursed me out.
No, she did not.
And she says, "You dummy, come here." But blah, blah, and she told me the truth, and she threw me on the floor. And
She looked at his tongue and said, "You need all these things."
yeah, you need to look at the tongue.
Yeah.
Yes, I look at her tongue,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "I said to her, my tongue don't look like yours." And she said, "You dummy."
No, she didn't.
We had a lot of great shows happening this. Can you believe Monday was just Monday? All the shows that we've had this week.
It's the
All the
same
great-
thing we
it's
had
the
last
same
week,
No,
and the week before.
This week has been really busy.
And it wasn't busy last week.
It was just different. I think it was different, but
I think you have that. What is that thing in the side of the head? What do you call that with the hormonal switch?
My
6
thyroid?
hormones. The
The
pituitary.
anterior pituitary, yeah.
I think you have 4. I think you're missing a couple of hormonals.
I don't know. I don't think so. Katie, what else we got going on in the back of the room? Any hot topics? News,
No,
things.
she's shaking her head now.
Today is National Chicken and Waffles Day.
I was asked yesterday if we make these things up. Do we make these things up? Where do you
Absolutely
get
not.
chicken and where did you get that?
Where did I get that from?
Yeah.
On a website that's for October National Days.
Ever had chicken and waffles?
Oh, yeah. The best one, in my opinion, is Tap 42. Amazing.
What is it? Who? What?
Tap
Chicken and
42.
waffles.
Top 42.
Tap 42.
Tap.
It's a restaurant that's nearby.
Has 42
It's-
beers on
That's
tap.
in Meisner, no?
No. Well, probably, but there's
That's
also a
Yard House.
location that's
Near the mall.
in.
Is it good?
Yeah,
Near
it's
the
really
mall.
good.
It's very good.
It's
I
kind
go
of
to
like part
IHOP.
of their brunch menu. They have
I go to
chicken and
IHOP.
waffles, and it's really, really good.
You go to IHOP Chicken and Waffles, and they bring you a plate enough for 3 people.
Eh.
No,
I
really?
would go with Tap 42. Really good. It's worth it.
National Chicken and Waffles Days. Garcia, where's your favorite chicken and waffles place?
And Garcia, well, you might as well sit up there, Garcia.
I don't think I have one for chicken and waffles. There's a place up in Gardens called Voodoo Kitchen that I've been wanting to try out and see if that's good enough for to be at.
What's your favorite meal?
My favorite meal?
What do you eat?
Well, anything. I think at that point, I think it's just fried rice and
Fried
some-
rice and beans?
No, fried rice. So it's like Chinese fried
Oh,
rice.
you like Chinese, yeah.
Yeah, with something on the side. So chicken or their ribs, something like that.
Fried rice. Chinese food.
I'd tell you, he's one
Happy
of the
New Year.
hardest working producers that we have that came in and just head to the ground and just kept working.
He's just smart. He gets things done. Him and Josh are the fastest I've ever seen catch on to what we're doing. But they're all smart. I mean, they all catch on.
It's also Get to Know Your Customers Day.
Oh, I like that. Get to know your customers day. Customer Appreciation Day.
Yep.
What should we do for that today?
Get a big cake.
Get a big cake.
Cookie cake preferred.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
is it with you everything's celebration with a cake? Why is that?
Well, why not?
Her middle name is Sugar, is why.
You gotta
all I
live
can
life
think
to
of.
the fullest. So why not have
happy.
cake?
She likes sugar. She's like the sugar queen.
Well,
I'm
Halloween's coming up, so.
Yeah.
But no, that sugar makes you crash.
What are we doing here for Halloween, gang?
And here we go
It's
again.
going to be my birthday, too.
Oh,
We're going to
do
celebrate
something.
birthday.
Is your birthday on Halloween?
Are we doing
the
a
29th?
theme?
Oh.
Are we doing a themed Halloween, or are we just doing...
I think that I think we should all just bring our costumes, come in it, or bring them. I know that, for example, Baxter, I know he has multiple costumes.
Yes.
And Bree said that she has her witch costume and her hippie costume. So what we might do is we'll all come in one costume, and if we have more, then we'll change throughout the day, like in the afternoon or the evening, and then it'll just be like, kind of cool.
What are you going to be?
I'm going to warn you now.
You have to wear a costume.
I'm going to warn you now.
Your king costume.
I'm warning you. This
in the
one, for the last 7 years, never follows the theme.
Not
There's no
true.
theme. It's Halloween.
She comes
My
in.
clothes are just all costumes.
She comes in like something from a play. It could be a witch, not a witch. It could be
We're going to have a party. Can you turn on the beast, please?
every time we do this, Dawn breaks the rules. Like sometimes I came in as Moses, the theme. I came in as a sports thing. She came in. I ain't doing that. No, I ain't doing that mask thing. I ain't doing that. That
hot.
makeup did
He always
not.
gets his face painted.
Too hot.
Not this year.
Last year you went as me.
Yes,
Maybe
that
you
was
can do
funny.
like one of those, those people that get the body painting? Have you
I
ever
went as
seen
her
that?
last year.
What?
Did you see the pictures? I went as
dressed
Dawn
as
last
me
year.
last
No,
year.
you did.
I had 2 sets of pantyhose because I couldn't fit one. So I had 2.
Nice.
A whole lot of fun. Are we on autopilot? No, okay.
Oh, look, talking about Halloween. Look who's in the
We got
house.
Paul Solomon in
We
the
gotta
house.
get him. We gotta get Paul a mic.
All right, we got Luhu Advisors in the house. Let us know what you were doing for Halloween. The best chicken and waffle. I'm so busy looking at all these cameras. The best chicken and waffles you've ever had. I don't know if I've ever had chicken and waffles.
You gotta be kidding me. That's like saying you never had
Did
a
you
soda.
put syrup on it?
Of course.
You put syrup on your chicken and waffles?
Of course.
I like to put them on
Well,
separate
okay, I
plates
put
so
it
they
on
go
the
together.
waffle, not the chicken, and I
take
eat
the
it
waffle,
separately.
Wrap the waffle around the chicken.
Ew, no. I
Like
like to
a
eat it
sandwich?
separately. I don't know. It's like a sensory thing for me. But I like
No.
to put the chicken on one side and put the waffle on the other. Use the syrup, put it on the waffle, and eat the waffle. Do a little waffle, chicken, back to back.
No, I mean, I put them all together because I like my food to play with
You like your
itself.
food to touch.
Yeah. You ever seen people say,
I don't.
my food can't touch? My rice, my vegetable, my meat, they got to be in separate quadrants. I said, what are you going to tell your stomach to separate it down there too?
That's why I always start with dessert.
Woo woo!
Right? My grandmother always said to me, she said it all goes in the same place, so why not have dessert first? And I
Period.
think,
With
why
a
not,
T.
right? So you don't need to save room for dessert, you just need to save room for dinner.
It's funny, my grandfather used
Yeah.
to say it all comes out in the same place. But that's
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Paul Solomon, Luhu Advisors. Let us help you. 888-994-4995, Studio A. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet radio, TV production company, discover AMP2 TV. AMP2 TV is a full-service media company that can provide all streaming videos, video studios, radio studios, and television studios. Call us today at 866-224-5422, for no business is too small to grow to be accounted. It's time for your message to be seen. Let AMP2 TV help get you there.
Stephanie Jaffe is a world-renowned artist who creates one-of-a-kind pieces. Using a keen sense of color and composition, her vibrant collages and mosaics integrate eclectic elements such as vintage keepsakes and fine china with blown glass and fired clay to create whimsical arrangements. For more information about her work, come down to the Brooklyn Cafe TV studio or go to StephanieJaffeArt.com.
Welcome to Lost Harbor Spirits, a world where pirates inspire our spirits, treasures remain undiscovered, and flavors are infused with the essence of mysterious voyages. The distillery became one of the few women-owned craft spirits production sites in the U.S. From our award-winning spirits of vodka and rum to delicious gin, we're always coming up with some new and exciting flavors to keep your cocktails delicious and fresh. Contact Palm Beach Distillery at lostharborspirits.com to take a tour or purchase your favorite spirit at your local liquor store.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? We can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents or having to waste time showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your house to foreclosure. If you have equity in your home, we'll buy your home and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call now before your situation gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just need anymore and get the cash you need today. Call this number now.
Call 855-348-5925. That's 855-348-5925. Again, 855-348-5925.
Tax audits, tax liens, wage garnishments.
Every day we hear stories like this about good folks who are simply struggling to pay their bills. Each of them are living a frightening IRS tax nightmare, and they are afraid it will destroy their lives.
I'm a divorced single mom, and my ex-husband left me and the kids with a lot of unpaid bills, including unpaid taxes. I was really starting to show my stress on my kids because the IRS had sent me a letter demanding a huge payment from me. I couldn't afford it. So then the IRS was threatening to garnish my wages. I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. That would have put me over the edge financially.
It truly seemed hopeless, but then a friend at work told her to call the tax relief line.
The people at the tax relief line, they told me about something called innocent spouse relief. They worked it out so that all of the taxes from my ex are not my problem. I don't know how that works, and I don't care. All I care about is that I don't owe the IRS a dime, and they are not going to take my paycheck.
Even if it seems hopeless, you should call the number on your screen right now. There is absolutely no cost for the call or the consultation. You are under no obligation. If you are worried that the IRS could garnish your wages, seize your assets, even take your home, call us right now. The Tax Relief Line is here to help you. Now, you have a knowledgeable, professional team of tax experts that are ready to negotiate with the IRS and fight for you to save you money. The Tax Relief Line's professionals have successfully negotiated thousands of cases, reducing and sometimes even eliminating the tax debt for their clients. It's very easy to get started. Simply call the number on your screen right now. You don't have to live in fear anymore. The call and the consultation are free.
When you wear Zamboni Couture, you can feel pride knowing that you are supporting a small woman-owned business. We advocate for women's empowerment and always embracing feminine freedom and equality. Our fashion is all about style, quality, passion, and color through the use of amazing fabrics to help you find your own individual style. Let us inspire you with beauty and color. Follow us at Zamboni Couture on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or call us at 561-860-6099.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Luhu Senior Advisors. Let us help you. Now, back to the show.
Never heard of Charm City, Paul.
I never heard of it.
Wow. Well, I guess the one we really have to be careful of is Brie. Make sure she gets the bun that's no sesame seeds, is all I can say.
Just make sure that Bailey doesn't lick every sandwich.
And watch how empty we're going to empty out
See
here
how
now.
nice it looks now?
They're all going to go in there. Nice job, Garcia. Thank you.
It's the converter may be going. We may have to get a new one.
Of
But
course.
anyway, so Paul's in the house. A couple of things I want to talk about. I don't know how much time we have left because we're in a different part of the studio, and I don't even know what time it is.
Things. All right.
Oh, okay.
We got time.
And I wanted to touch a little bit about what Paul does, because we've been talking about the belief of what you do
All
and just making it and believing in it. And your dad had this place down by Yankee Stadium. Very familiar with your dad's place. It was very successful. It did a lot of good things down there. There was a beer guy down there who used to feed the beer to all of Yankee Stadium as well. He was murdered down there in a robbery, down on the corner. But we had Manhattan Transfer in the house today.
Remember
You
them?
remember Manhattan Transfer? And 50 years they're celebrating today. Their album, a new album, it comes out tomorrow. So when Dawn said to me, we have Manhattan Transfer coming on, you know, I dropped the mic. I said, what? Then I didn't believe it. And I wanted to have him on today because I just had this calling about different things that you should hold on to and believe, you know? And then I have you and your dad and the stories and the things that we've been doing on Tuesday night and how important it is to get your affairs in order, especially on what's happening today. And Doc shows up, and she's talking about mental wellness and fixing up the things in your body. And it's a whole chemistry set of how to do it correctly. And we have other people that are associated to us in our lives that are really going through some really, really hard times right now. Because it ain't easy being you, as they say, you know? And I'm glad that you're here because I wanted to touch. The last time you did a show, I didn't get to ask any of the questions that I wanted to ask because you were doing the stories, you were racing through this thing.
This week we got to ask a lot of questions, though.
Yeah, but there were more.
There's always more.
There's always more. And the funny thing is that when you talk about the importance of making these moves, and I know that you're talking to the senior environment, but it's the person that has to make decisions based on your senior parents getting older in our society, that sometimes they can't make those decisions. You have to make decisions for. And what I like about Paul is that he doesn't give you one option. He gives you multiple options. So I'm glad that Paul is in here. He's like the cherry on top of the sundae today.
Well, it gives you a change of and sitting here gives us a change of perspective absolutely on the whole studio itself, right? So it's kind of nice to switch it up, and interviewing the Manhattan Transfer today was amazing. They just came out with a new album, they call it Record, 50 years. 50 years of being together with the same group, essentially. Unfortunately, their founding member passed, so they have a new of their 4. But to be together for 50 years.
Not easy.
And she was a waitress, trying to live her dream to create music. Their partner got in a taxi cab, met the founder. The rest is history, from a taxi cab in New York.
From a taxi cab ride.
Right, 50 years, and together, however many Grammy nominations and award winners. And I think the ultimate message was to follow your dream and keep the noise away, is what you always say. She didn't say that, but essentially it was just do what you love to do and keep going and follow your dream and know that it's all going to be okay.
That's right. And then bringing up what Paul does, what is it?
Mr. Diet Coke.
Okay, good. Can you put it over there? Put it in the B, because I don't want Bree to drink it. But bringing you on set, there's a lot of things that are happening in your life as well. And I know that you are always extending, as Doc said today, the right arm, giving people the information, the knowledge to help them get to where they got to go. But, we never sat down and said, how's it going for you in our establishment? What's happening around right now with all of these changes, the stock market, now I hear today that Biden's getting rid of the loans, the forgiveness program, is being challenged in the Supreme Court.
Wow.
And they're doing something called an emergency session, a hurry-up session. They will have an answer in 2 days. So that means that if they stop it, it goes back to the courts. That means everything's on freeze again. Are you serious?
Wow.
Which is January 1st, is when everything's supposed to kick back in again. And they're supposed to, by law, give X amount of days, it's either 30 or 60 days to the people, to let them know that they're going to have to start their payments again. So we're getting towards the end of the year. So it could be a Christmas present, good or bad.
That's right.
Because nothing happens fast.
Well, the Supreme Court is going to make a ruling by the end of the week, because it's in something called an emergency session, because they started taking the applications. Everybody's writing in to say, can this be forgiven?
If I was a betting man, right? We have the midterms coming up. So what's the Supreme Court going to do?
Well, they're going to let it go because but the bottom line here is that I have a feeling it's just the opposite, because this thing is going back and forth with running the House, and the Senate is 50-50 right now and running that, and they're going back and forth on all these changes. So one drop of anything in the puddle can change this thing dramatically. And does that change the future of what you do?
Well, I mean, it ends up being a combination of a lot of things. I mean, the stock market just reiterates even more to a lot of other people. Yeah, you got to be in the market. Yeah, you got to be in the market. But when is the right time to get out of the market, right? So the guessing of the ups and downs, and a lot of the seniors that I deal with, and even a lot of people that are my age, for the future, with the way the interest rates are going, there's a lot of alternative ways to make money now, and safe ways to make money with guarantees involved. And that's the annuity business that I deal with, or Universal Life. There's different creative ways to make money and protect the gains, because if you put your money in the stock market, there's no protection. And I guess people really need to open up their eyes. If they want to ride the roller coaster, ride the roller coaster. I've never been able to do that. That's why I never got my license to sell that.
And the scary thing is that real estate, they wanted to freeze it because it was the market was nuts. So they are threatening again in November to go up another 3/4 of a point, right? To slow down the inflation.
I think it's going to go up to 9 by January 1st.
But what I'm reading,
Think about that.
But what I'm reading, all they're doing is hurting us, not helping us, because the bottom line is, as more goods are coming into the country again that were frozen, as we're getting more people driving the trucks, we didn't have any of those guys. They're all back.
Right.
As the trains are moving, inflation has slowed down. Now, the thing with the gas, that's a whole different animal. you're going to have to start looking at what's happening in this country on different terms. So, for those of you who contact Paul and said, let me take a look-see, let me sit back and wait, I got to tell you something. I got some bad news for you. If you keep waiting, you're going to end up looking up at a deal that you should be making now to protect you in the future, because nobody knows what's going to happen. Politics, whether you like it or not, is running the country right now. They want it red, they want it blue. And until that mess straightens itself out, you're going to keep hearing, oh, I haven't made up my mind yet. Well, I'm going to make up your mind. If you don't get in the game right now, you're going to hurt yourself.
Because you keep waiting and you're waiting and waiting. You know, today's a year since I moved, right? I moved exactly a year ago today. Interest rates were 2 and change, which I think I got our house for. Now it's 7, it may go up to 9. In that year, a lot of things have changed.
You wouldn't have sold your house today.
Not for what I got it for.
You wouldn't have sold your house today. I'm
Right.
telling you right now, you wouldn't have sold your house.
So we took the opportunity when it was available. I knew there was this window. I said to Chuck, there's an 8-month window. And he says, how do you know? I go, I feel there's an 8-month window. We sold it in August. We sold it. We closed in October. And sure enough, by summer, things started doing what they're doing. But that's the thing with Paul. People think about it. Let me think about calling Paul. Let me think about putting this together while they're in a solid state to think about it. And then a catastrophe strikes, and then you're backpedaling.
Yeah, how much happened in the last year? And I mean, I educate myself every day just because there's so much information, and I guess that makes a lot of people freeze and wait because they don't know what to do. But even speaking about the housing market, so I was just watching a webinar about reverse mortgages, and it made so much sense that because the housing market is probably going to come down, all right, it has to as the interest rates go up. Now's the best time to lock in for a reverse mortgage because your value of your house is the highest it's going to be now for who knows how long.
That's right.
Could be a year, could be 5 years, could be 10 years. We'll never hit that high again. But if you buy into a reverse mortgage now, again, over 62, you can lock in that value of your house now. You don't have to use the reverse mortgage. You can get into one and not turn it on and not pay interest, and you can actually make money with the reverse mortgage if you turn it on based on the value of your house today.
Okay, how does that work? So say the value of my house is $500,000.
Right.
And I'm over 62 and I own the house, all the pre-qualifications thereof.
Right.
I can get up to 250?
Yeah, it's about 50%. You get up to 250 of value out. Now you can take it out different ways. You could either not take it out, turn it on, but not touch it. And if you don't touch it, that 250 is going to increase by a percentage rate that's locked in. So whether it's 3, 4, 5%, you can now pull out more money. So your 250 is going to grow.
But you don't have to.
You don't have to.
You can leave it alone.
You can leave it alone. So you buy into it, right? You turn it on, but then don't have to literally pull the money out. So now you have 250 that's growing at 3, 4, 5%, whatever the rate is, and it's going up obviously as all the other rates are going up, and that's growing. So that means you have even more money to tap into, market risk-free, okay? And that's going to be what you can tap into. And for people that are thinking about retirement, and yes, you paid cash for your house, great, but now you have this opportunity to tap into this anytime you want. You can turn it on for income. You can turn it on if you have some type of disaster, health reasons. You can pull it out and buy long-term care insurance. I mean, you can
What
do
if
so
the
many
value
things.
of the house goes down? Does it make a difference if you're locked in?
No, because you're locked in. And
So nothing. It could go down to 0, and they still got to pay the money under
And the
500.
beautiful thing about it is if you tap it in, so now you're going to use it as a line of credit, let's say, as opposed to going to the bank and getting a line of credit. 2007, 2008, the banks closed your line of credit and said now you owe it back. They can't do that with a reverse mortgage. So if you open up this line of credit and the market goes down and things go crazy, it stays open. You can always tap into it.
Who's paying your mortgage payments then? Are you
It's
supposed to
accruing
be
on the
paying
back
it?
end. It's
Okay.
accruing on the back end. So it's almost like the banks, Mutual of Omaha, one of the biggest, says, listen, we know we need future business, so here's our future business. It's all collateralized by the house, so it's a non-recourse loan, so they can't come after you and or your family if you pass away. There's insurance. So it's a really,
Wait a minute,
really
wait a minute,
great mortgage to have.
Hold on a
the
second.
house.
I don't know why you
Hold
don't
on
do
a
this.
second. Hold on a second. I didn't know this. I did not know this. So hold on a 2nd I take that 250.
Right.
I leave it alone. I open, but
You
I
open
don't
the
touch
account.
it. I'm not paying mortgage anymore either? Or
Well,
I'm
again-
paying mortgage?
Well, again, it depends if you have one or not, because again.
Let's say I have one.
If you have one, well, the money you're pulling out, let's say in the 500.
Right.
And let's say you had a $100,000 mortgage.
Right.
They're paying that off first. So now you only have 150 left you can tap into. Right? So you can't have
And
two
what is the
mortgages on
minimum?
that.
$1 million?
Huh? That's the high end, $1 million.
So if I have $1 million and I own 150,000,
Wait, that's up the 500, right?
yeah, so $1 million goes down to 5. So I
goes down to
take
4.
150 off the 5.
You pay off the mortgage, and now
And
you have
so-
350, 400,000, whatever the number is, just sitting there.
Sitting there. And just sitting there. So by the time I turn 65, 66, if I take that money out, do I still have the house? If I take the difference out,
Yeah,
do I
of course
still
you
own
have
the
a
house?
Sure, and no mortgage payment, no payments, no more. All you have to do is pay real estate
Okay.
taxes and
There's
insurance.
something wrong here, my friend.
It's an unbelievable tool.
Unbelievable?
Unbelievable tool.
I mean, do you understand what he's saying?
It's, I want to say free money, because essentially you're at free money, because when you eventually sell the house, that gets paid off. You're investing with other people's money. You have it.
And the coolest thing, okay, because when you turn your 66, 67, 68, and now Social Security turns on, the money you pull out, if you have an income stream coming out of it, it's not considered income.
You got to be kidding me.
It's called, it's a loan, you're getting it paid back as a loan.
Paul, is this legal?
Of course.
Seriously.
It's run by the government.
I mean, you got to understand what he's saying. So in my present situation,
In your present situation.
I got to make a call right after commercial break. It doesn't pay not to do it because you're still in the house.
Yeah.
You just paid off the note. You still have 450 that can sit there, or you could take some of it out and put it in these annuities. They're going to give you even more money. So there's an or, but it's your choice. But even if you did nothing, and I waited 5 years in this program, there's my retirement, and I'm still in the house.
And you're making money, and you're making money on your money.
And now
Okay.
you've got the money to pay for your HOA.
Okay, I got to ask. Yes, that's the scary part of it.
You got the
I
money
got to
to
ask. Why would anybody say, "Let me think about it"? I don't get it. Why? Why would anybody say that? Why would you say, "Let me think about it"? Is it too good to be true?
Well, the first thing is that people think, A, it's too good to be true, but B, they think they lose the house.
They
So
think the
they
bank
think
owns
that the
it.
bank owns the house.
Right.
100% false. 100%. 110% false. Okay? It's not any different than you having a mortgage on your house the other way, right? Who owns the house? You do. You just have a lender.
And
Same
how
thing
hard
with
is
that.
this to do? How long does it take?
30 to 40 days.
All it has to do is appraise.
Appraisal's the biggest issue, if you want to call it that, because that's what everything's based off of, is the appraisal. So as the market's now going down, obviously your house is going to appraise for less.
So again, now's the time to do this.
Okay, hold on. I got another question. Wow. So I have a house that's worth $2 million, let's say. I'm going to only borrow against the $1 million because that's the
Right.
rule, so it's
Right.
500. So now all of a sudden I sit in this house for 5 years and I sell it. And let's say that instead of $2 million it's worth $1.8 million, $1.7 million, whatever the hell it is.
Right.
And I put the switch back on. I keep the residue, and I keep the money that I make, and I switch it. I can still sell the house for $1.7 million, $1 million, whatever it's worth, in 5 years.
Sure.
So this is scary. I don't understand why people don't do this just to turn it on
Yeah.
and then decide what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
So as you're sitting there waiting, let me wait. You know the word wait. Do the damn thing, and wait. And then maybe if you see you're making a little bit of money, the man says, okay, open this to help this and help that.
How hard is this to do?
Well, not even how hard it is, what's the actual cost up front to do it is the appraisal.
No
Maybe.
closing costs,
Maybe.
none of that?
What's
No.
that, $450?
Yeah, maybe. Some programs, they'll even pay for the
So
appraisal.
you don't even have like $10,000 in closing costs?
You
All
do, but they're built in. So they're paid,
like a
so that's
regular-
that's
It's
what's
like a
accruing.
regular.
That's
That's
part
what's
of you
accruing.
paying off your mortgage.
Wow.
That's in the junk bonds and the junk fees and all that crap.
All
in
that
there.
stuff is just built in on the back end. So let's say you are trying to take 200 out. Now the loan balance will be now 220 or 230, whatever the costs of the closing costs. There's mortgage insurance, and that's how they protect it, where if the market does completely tank, you could walk away from the house. I mean, I just did that for a family. We tried to sell their condo, but because they borrowed so much against it, I couldn't sell it between closing costs and commissions, so they ended up giving the condo back to the reverse mortgage company as a deed in lieu of foreclosure, and everybody was happy. So they pulled everything out they could have.
They kept all the money, they used the reverse mortgage, everything they did, and then they just sit here, take it back. But meanwhile, they had already used up the money.
Right. And the market didn't, in this situation, the market, they did it over 10 years ago, so they got it at the peak, went down, and now because it needs to be fixed up, it was really an older person, they're in a nursing home right now. I said, I can't sell it. They would have to come to the closing with money or just give it back. Because I said, listen, I have to get my commission, the other person has to get their commission, title company has to get paid. It's better for you if you just call up, let's call up. I called up the mortgage company with them, and I said, send us deed in lieu of foreclosure paperwork, and we'll give you the keys. All they had to do is clean out the apartment. and we're
Okay,
done.
I got a scenario for you. So I got 150 to work with. I swear to God, I'm making a phone call. I got 150 to work with, right? I need 40,000 a year for the HOA. Don't ask me, don't write in, don't worry about it. So how do I find the 40 large out of the 150, or am I allowed to add in some of the money that I'm paying? Because I'm paying a lot of money to live in this thing. Can I add fresh money into the pot?
I don't know if you would want to add fresh money into the pot.
Well, how
So,
do I
mean-
cover the 40,000
Well, I mean,
a year?
again, that's, saying how much you really want to pull out of the house. Maybe you pull out more, based on whatever
That's the
interest
max,
rate
it's
is.
250.
No, you're taking 5, you're paying off your 150, so now you got 350 left.
Yes, okay, you're right. I don't know how to add anymore.
That's right. That's
So
why I'm saying.
350.
We
So
should be
can I
doing this
get?
on the air. We should be doing this off the air.
No, I don't want to do it off the air.
I get Lynette, it's my brain
But
and
I'm
his
going to
good
tell
looks,
you
I
why
know.
I don't want to do it off the air, because I'm tired of hearing people say, I want to wait. What the hell are you waiting for?
I mean, this is an incredible thing, and after, again, so I always watch webinars. I mean, there's always new information, and I always learn things myself. But what clicked for me, and they asked at the end, what information did you get? And I'm like, okay, I thought I knew everything. But the one thing was like, you're right. It is the best time right now at the market the way it is until it starts to fall, which I think it'll fall after January 1st, even more. The listings I have, we had to reduce. I mean, if you go on the MLS right now, everybody's price reduced, price reduced, price reduced. If you're going to do it, you're over 62, whether you need the money or not, tap into it right now.
Just lock and load. This is the thing.
Yeah.
Lock and load. You don't have to pull the trigger if you don't want to. I mean, you want to be asinine
Right.
about it, then good luck with that. But lock and load. Do the appraisal. And you're going to have to read, yes, you're going to have to read, America, about what you're doing when he does it. And you lock and load. Now you have money coming to you. Your mortgage is taken care of if the numbers work out. And this is a no-brainer.
Now, what if you have no mortgage? Then nothing's being paid
That's
off.
even better.
Right. Now you're pulling out
500.
50%, 100% of the 50%.
And that's all yours, minus
All
the closing
yours.
costs and everything.
all yours.
Like
And then you can
somebody
take-
I know that you know.
Yes.
Yes, we're making phone calls today.
And then I'm thinking, so you take this money that you have, say you have 500,000 left, and now you tell me you can go buy a house with that.
Oh, yeah. You could buy a house, a new house. I mean, I just learned something too today, which I don't have a lot of divorced seniors. But let's say somebody wants to get divorced and they don't have a mortgage on their house, and now somebody needs to move out. Well, do the reverse mortgage, right? Take the money out for then the other spouse to go buy a house with the reverse mortgage. How crazy is that? So now there's nothing out of pocket. Now they own 2 houses, never make a mortgage payment, and they could be equal value.
Not
right?
even on the second house?
Right, because you're buying with the reverse mortgage. You're pulling the money out of the first
Paying
house.
it cash,
Yeah,
if it falls into parameters.
but
Yes,
that's
you
how
gotta buy the
crazy. I mean,
parameter.
it's an unbelievable tool.
This is crazy.
Unbelievable tool. And then another biggest issue why people don't want to do reverse mortgages, they want to leave the house to their kids.
You can still do it.
Okay, so I'm like, all right, A, does your kids want the house? Do they even want to be in Florida, right? Or B, how about if you pull some of that money out and then buy an insurance policy that comes out tax-free for your kids?
And it leaves them the house the hard way, as they say.
right? So why not use the house as the bank? I mean, that's kind of what you're trying to do. So why not pull it out, buy an insurance policy, lump sum, right? Now you can take more than the value of the house, probably, leave it to them tax-free, and now you don't have a mortgage payment.
And you leave them without a headache, because when you die, 90% of the times they leave it in the wrong setup, like what happened to my father and mother. They left me with a headache is all I have.
And the kids probably don't want the house anyway. They're going to sell it for the money, and you can still sell it for the money with the reverse mortgage. You can still sell it when the parents pass.
Right, so you don't get as much, maybe. Okay.
But your parents got to benefit from the money, and you didn't have to pay for the extra aid help they need. You didn't have to pay because their Social Security wasn't meeting the ends for them.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you can take the money and freeze it.
In 30 days, Freddie, you can have some extra money on it.
I am making a phone call. I am making a phone call. Watch me. That's amazing. You see, when you told me about the reverse mortgage, and I kept hearing people saying, "Oh, I'm gonna wait." I'm saying, what are you waiting for? This is a no-brainer. If you don't do this, even if you don't need the money,
Right.
you should do this. Just lock it. Now, how long do I have to wait when I can turn it on, activate it?
So what they say is because they're trying to protect seniors, okay, the government, before you were able to take 100% of your money, they used to give you 100%, whatever you're pulling out, 100, 150,000. Now they're giving you 50 to 60% of it the first year, and then you got to wait 12 months to pull out the rest. And that's to protect the consumer, so that what people were doing, they were pulling everything out and then spending it, giving it to their kids, going on trips, and then those houses were then being foreclosed on, right? So the government realized this, they did their analysis and said, you know what, let's protect the seniors. Let's give them half the first year, and then give them 12 months and a day later, they can have the other half.
Now, when you say half, if I keep the $350,000 in the bank and it's earning interest, are we talking about the interest or the principal?
Well, at 350, let's say you were able to take out the 350. You would only be able to take out, let's say, 175 this year, and then 12 months and a day, take out the other 175. If it's in there, you didn't pull it out, it's growing.
But you can't buy another house then on the 350. You could only buy it on the 175.
If it's a divorce, you can't. They'll let you take out the whole thing. So there's stipulations where you can pull out the whole thing, depending upon what's going on, and divorce is one. So if you're getting divorced, they'll give you the whole thing. And it's a whole other thing. I was really sitting in this webinar based for attorneys. So, because I wanted to hear that angle of it.
Sure.
And it was perfect. It really
But hold
was.
on. So I could take $40,000 now to pay what I need.
Yes.
Sure.
And
you
then
could take it out once
and-
a year. You could ask for one sum of money every year. You know, set it up. Don't touch it. And then take out the 40 just to do it.
Now, in the back end,
You need to sell your house.
I want to.
personally.
I don't need to sell nothing. I just found another
It's
way.
the top of the market.
So
Sell
in
your
the
house.
back-
40,000 a year. You don't even play golf. You don't even play golf. What do
I
you
will
do?
now. I can. I
Now
don't have
he's
to
gonna
worry.
retire on this
I'm going to
money.
retire. Now, how do I reimburse myself the 40 large that I'm taking out every year?
How do you reimburse yourself?
Why would you
In other
reimburse
words,
yourself?
I took out 40,000 to pay
Now
the
you're getting
HOA.
greedy. Yeah.
I want to get greedy.
No.
Reimburse yourself.
First of
Just
all,
sell
let me
the
tell
house
you.
after 3 years. Just sell the house.
Right.
Why?
Because
I like the house, and now I ain't got to pay for it.
Well, now you've gone through all your money though again.
No, it's 40,000 a year. I'm not gonna go through it. At least I have at least
3 years.
Yeah, but the money's still earning interest just because you take out 40.
So maybe you have
the
4 years.
350 is 310 is still
Do
making
you and
money.
Linda really need a 7-bedroom house on the water? I mean, do you really need that?
Is that I find everything small now.
I don't know, except now, you
I mean,
know.
maybe 4. but
First of all,
7?
don't blow my bubble. Don't blow my bubble.
10 o'clock at night. You really need, we could just open the couch up for you. You could save a whole lot of
What are
money.
you talking about? This is
Every
the answers to my prayers. You know, it's funny. I prayed today, and here's the answer. I did not realize. You know, I got to tell you, you're giving me at least a choice, man.
Right?
You know, I just
Options.
woke up today after 12 years of having choice. After 12 years, you know what it is to wake up every day and says, oh, man, I don't have to, there's a move here. There's a move. Don't you get it?
I totally get it.
Did you know all of this? You didn't know all of this.
He's been telling us that, and you've
Not
been talking
this whole
about
thing
doing
over
it.
here.
You're like my clients. You listen to me, but it doesn't, penetrate.
Doesn't process.
You know.
The light just went off. The light, I am shocked right
It's
now.
a great option, and it's for my parents also. They have no mortgage, but to be able to do that, to go buy something else while they're looking for, because they go, I can't buy another house until we sell ours. because they don't want to dip into the investments. Okay, I get that. But if you do this reverse mortgage, you can take X.
Yeah, but you don't even have to do it. I mean, there's another way that we
There's
can do this.
another way.
Of course, there's another way.
Because I think that's the other thing seniors fear is they want to move. We've talked about downsizing and a smaller house if you don't want to go into a facility, you don't need to. How are you going to buy that house? Because now your first house has no mortgage. Do you want to mortgage on the second house? Where are you going to get the money to buy the next house while you're waiting for this house to sell? They don't want to leave it.
There's ways to do this. There's multiple ways to do this.
Interesting.
You just have to present the situation. So reverse mortgage could be one way to pull the money out and do that. That could be expensive though because you're not keeping the house for a period of time.
Right.
They say people that really are going to use a reverse mortgage should have the house 3 to 5 years. Because otherwise the break even, well, the break-even point of the cost of it doesn't make sense. So again, if you know your parents are taking it out to then sell their house, that might not be the right way. But there are other ways to tap into that equity.
And you can do all of this?
I can do all of it. I'm not a licensed mortgage broker, but I bring in the reverse mortgage person or broker, but that's part of the planning. So
and you're there when it happens, right?
So I'm the consultant as all this is going through.
Can I rent the house while I'm doing all this?
No, not with the reverse mortgage.
No,
it has to be a primary residence.
They're telling us we got to wrap this up.
I ain't wrapping this up. It's just got a reprieve
that
here.
good?
I got to tell you, all kidding aside, what I'm hearing makes a whole lot of freaking sense. Now I'm going to take him in the back room and find out, okay, give me the downside. There is no downside. Not doing it is the downside, yes?
The only downside, again, is not staying in the house for a period of time. So if you're looking to just do it for a quick money pull out to then sell, it still could be the right move. It just could be an expensive move, and then you just got to see is it worth it or not.
So if you're not in the house, you what happens?
You could have $10,000 in closing costs.
Or more. Or more. So I mean that's the difference. That's the break even. It could cost you 20 to 30 grand to close on this deal.
Yeah.
So if you're doing it in a year, but that's why they say 3 to 5 years, depending upon how big the loans are, makes sense to stay in the house.
But I could sell. But I could sell it above the money.
Oh, absolutely.
So I would.
Yeah, it's just the cost.
That's Freddie's new language.
Yeah.
It's just the cost. It's all part of the game. Oh man. Okay, I'm done.
How do people reach you, Paul?
954-540-6609. LuhuAdvisors.com, LUHU advisors.com, or paulsolomonpa@gmail.com.
Great information. Wow, the market is definitely, we're reaching our peak of selling. So now let's look at some other ways to make some money.
If you own a house, I don't care, and it's over 5 years you've been living there, give this man a call. Because even if you don't trigger and you lock in, that's going to help you even to sell it in the future. We don't know what the rates are going to do. We don't know what the demand is going to be.
Right.
And then there's the whole other insurance, long-term care side of it. That's a whole
Well, that's
side.
another. That's going to be another half hour. But I tell you, what a day today. I got to tell you.
It all comes down to one thing. Live your dream. Do what you do what you love to do, and stay the course, because it will always work out the way it should. And here we sit.
And let Paul help you finance it.
And Dr. Lynette, hopefully we're going to see you on Monday.
I'll be there.
Awesome.
Perfect.
All right, more to come. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay safe. It is beautiful here, so come on down to the Cafe Theater tonight. We've got Touched by Angel live at 7, and then at 7:30, Cafe Night Train. If you like the saxophone, you definitely want to come out and hear JT play the sax and hear CC Clevenger do one of his originals. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you a little bit later.
And don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.